a war going on, oil prices are surging. The market is reacting to it. Inflation is coming back. Global uncertainty is at its highest in years. And yet, the most confusing part of all of this is how gold is reacting. This is the asset that's supposed to protect you in exactly this kind of environment, right? Why is it falling then? Gold is down roughly 20% since the West Asia conflict began. Silver has been hit even harder. It's down close to 35% within weeks. Now, if you've been investing for any amount of time, you know this makes no sense on the surface. What happens? Gold goes up. That's the rule, or rather, that's what history has taught us for decades. So why is it breaking down right now? That's exactly what we're going to figure out today. Hi, I'm Aparna, and in this video, we'll break this down layer by layer, not just at the surface level, but what's actually happening or changing underneath the market. By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand why gold is falling even in a crisis, what has structurally changed this time, and most importantly, what this means for you as an investor. Because this isn't just about gold going down, it's about understanding how the market is actually thinking right now. And once you see that clearly, your decisions change. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the rule that everyone believes in. When there is war, crisis, or uncertainty, gold and silver rise. They are called safe havens for a reason. And it didn't just come up from nowhere, the history backs this up completely. During the Vietnam War, gold surged from around $35 to nearly $180 per ounce. That's over 400% growth. During the Gulf War, it moved up around 15%. During the Iraq War, it gained again roughly 19%. Then came the 2008 financial crisis. Gold rallied from around $700 all the way to nearly $1,900. That's around 170% growth. And during COVID, when the entire world shut down and uncertainty was at its peak, gold rose by 25%. The pattern feels almost predictable. War, crisis, uncertainty, gold went up. That's what every investor believes in. That's what history has taught us. Now let's look at today. Tensions in West Asia are rising. Oil prices have crossed $100 per barrel as the conflict is getting worse. And if you look at what India actually pays for oil, which is basically a mix of crude from places like Oman, Dubai and Brent, that price has gone up sharply to around $147 per barrel. That's not just a number. Higher crude means higher fuel costs, higher transportation costs, and that inflation pressure spreads across the entire economy. But this is literally the perfect setup for gold to rally. And yet it's falling. So when a pattern that has worked for decades starts to break, it usually means the rules underneath have changed. So instead of assuming history will repeat, the real question is what's different this time? So we did the research and found 4 possible reasons behind this, and each one builds onto the next one. So stay with me. The first reason starts with the US dollar. Right now, the dollar index is sitting strong at around 99 to 100. That may sound dramatic, but in global markets, this is actually a powerful signal. It tells you that money is not just looking for safety, it's specifically moving into the dollar. And the key things to understand here is, in times of uncertainty, investors have 2 major safe haven choices. Not just one, but 2. One is gold and the other one is the US dollar. Historically, gold has dominated that space, but this time the dollar is winning. Now here's why that directly hurts gold. Gold is priced globally in US dollars, so when the dollar strengthens, gold automatically becomes more expensive for everyone buying it outside the US. Let me explain it like this. Say gold is at $5,000 per troy ounce. If the rupee is at 80 per dollar, that's 4 lakh rupees per ounce for an Indian investor, right? Now if the rupee weakens to 90 per dollar, though gold is still $5,000 globally, but in India, it now costs 4.5 lakh. From 4 lakh to 4.5 lakh now. Same gold, same global price, but for you, it just got more expensive. So with the same budget, you'll now be able to buy less. Now think about this happening across every country simultaneously. Naturally, the global demand for gold slows down. So money is flowing into the dollar. Dollar strengthens, which means gold gets more expensive globally. That weakens the demand and price falls. That's the first domino. Let's move on to the next one. The second reason is about interest rates, and this one is really important. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, one pattern becomes very clear. Gold doesn't just react to uncertainty, it reacts to interest rates and more importantly, to the direction of interest rates. Stay with me here. If you look at history carefully, Gold's biggest rallies haven't actually happened during the peak of fear. They have happened after the US Federal Reserve starts cutting interest rates. Let me show you the pattern. After the 2000 rate cuts, gold rallied 31% over the next couple of years. After the 2007 financial crisis, once the Fed started cutting, gold surged 39%. After 2019, when growth slowed and cuts began, gold rose 25%. Every single time, once rates started coming down, gold found momentum and sustained it. Now compare that with where we are today. Yes, uncertainty is rising. Yes, oil prices are surging. But here's the problem. Oil prices are rising, which means inflation hasn't gone away. And the Fed's whole job right now is to bring back inflation down to 2%. Until that happens, rate cuts might not start. They've been very clear about it. Now, why does that hurt gold? Because gold is a non-yielding asset. It pays you nothing. No interest, no income. Now compare that with US 10-year bonds. Currently, they are yielding around 4.2 to 4.3%. That's a meaningful return and from one of the safest assets in the world. So as an investor, you're now looking at a real choice. On one side is gold, which gives you safety but zero return. Or bonds, which gives you safety and a steady income. The decision shifts naturally. Money flows into yield and gold, which offers none, quietly takes a backseat. This is what investors call the opportunity cost of holding gold. And right now, that cost is very real. So do you get it? The one thing that has historically triggered gold's big rallies, a rate cut cycle, isn't just here yet. And until it shows up, gold is going to keep struggling. Now there's another layer to it, and this is the most important shift and also the one most people are completely missing. If you've followed gold over the last few years, you'll know that a big part of gold's rally was driven by central banks buying gold consistently in the background. They were absorbing supply, building reserves quietly, and creating a strong price floor. We also spoke about it in a few videos. That buying was powerful. It actually kept gold elevated even through the difficult periods. But now that support is starting to fade. In fact, in some cases, it's actually reversing. Let me show you what's exactly happening. Turkey has already sold 58 tons of gold. Russia has sold gold for the first time in 25 years. Poland is planning to sell. Middle Eastern countries are also selling. So basically, many of the countries that were buying gold the most, especially in the Middle East and Gulf region, they rely heavily on oil and gas revenues. When conflict disrupts energy markets or prices become unstable, their income takes a direct hit. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, when income gets pressured, your priorities shift immediately. You stop thinking about long-term reserve building, you instead start thinking about how to manage right now. So gold, which these countries were buying as a long-term asset, has now become their emergency fund. They are selling gold to raise cash, to manage their economies, to cover rising costs, and in many cases, to fund the conflict itself. So the same countries that were buying gold and keeping prices up are now selling gold and pushing prices down. And think about what that does to the market. Earlier, central banks were absorbing supply and keeping prices supported. Now they're adding supply and putting pressure on prices. That's a complete structural reversal. And it's happening silently, which is exactly why most investors haven't fully processed yet. This is why the crisis feels so different from every previous one. Because it's not fear driving the market right now, it's the need for cash. And when liquidity becomes the priority, even gold can fall in the middle of a crisis. Now here's one more interesting angle to this entire story. Let's go back to 1983. Something similar has already played out. Oil revenues dropped sharply, Middle Eastern countries came under financial pressure, and they started selling their gold reserves to manage their finances. That large-scale selling triggered a sharp fall in gold prices within days. The setup looks surprisingly similar to today. And this also shows you something important about how gold has changed as an asset. Earlier, gold was simple and mostly moved in one direction. Bad times meant gold went up. Good times meant gold slowed down. That was the basic pattern. But today, gold reacts to both sides. When economies grow and money flows in, gold demand increases. But when countries face stress and need cash, they sell gold to raise liquidity. So gold no longer just rises in bad times, it now depends entirely on whether the big players are buying or being forced to sell. Right now, they are selling and that's changing everything. But we are not done yet. There's one more layer here, and this one comes from how gold actually behaves compared to equity markets. You might have heard that gold and stocks don't really move together. which means when stocks fall, gold rises. That's the theory. But the real world doesn't always follow theory, especially during sharp market moves. When stocks start falling quickly, the first reaction isn't always move to safety. The first reaction is often, I need cash right now. Think about it. If you are an investor who is leveraged in the market and stocks start falling, you get margin calls. You need liquidity immediately, and in that situation, you don't sell what you want to sell. You sell what you can sell. And very often that's gold. Because gold is liquid, easy to exit, and in many cases already sitting on profits from earlier rallies. At the same time, when stocks fall a lot, they start looking cheap. And some investors actually pull money out of gold to move it into equities to take advantage of lower prices. So you have got two forces working together. Forced selling of gold to raise cash and deliberate selling of gold to buy cheap stocks. When both start happening together, both push gold lower, even when gold theoretically should be going up. That's why this phase feels so confusing to a lot of people. Okay, so now let's get to the real question. What should you actually do from here? Let's break that down. First, let's be very clear about one thing. This fall is not because the long-term gold story is broken. What's driving the fall right now is a combination of short-term forces we just saw. A strong dollar, liquidity stress, central bank selling. These are real, but they are not permanent. The bigger picture for gold still remains the same. The core long-term drivers that pushed gold higher over the last few years, currency uncertainty, geopolitical risk, central bank diversification away from the dollar, those are still intact. They have just taken a backseat temporarily. Second thing you need to do is understand the phase you are in. This is a liquidity-driven correction, not a structural breakdown. And in phases like this, prices often overshoot on the downside, sentiment turns negative, and that's usually where a base starts forming quietly before the next move begins. Third and most important, don't panic sell. What's happening right now is very typical of stress periods. Investors raise cash, they sell what's most liquid and sitting in profit. Right now, that's gold and silver. But selling into that pressure usually means selling right before things stabilize. And before you think the long-term view has completely changed, some market experts are still holding targets of $10,000 for gold by the end of this decade, even after this correction. That tells you something important. The long-term story hasn't shifted. Only the short-term path has gotten more volatile. So the smarter approach right now, if you're already invested, stay invested, don't panic. Don't exit completely. If you're looking to enter, do it gradually. In volatile phases, markets don't move in straight lines. There will be sharp falls, sharp bounces, and a lot of noise in between. Build your position patiently rather than trying to time the exact bottom, because this is not the end of the gold and silver story. This is a phase where the market is resetting before the next move begins. So let's bring this all together. Gold and silver are falling not because the world has become safer, but because this particular crisis is playing out very differently from every previous one. The dollar is winning the safe haven race. The Fed isn't cutting rates, which removes gold's biggest historical trigger. Central banks that were buying gold are now selling it to raise liquidity. And equity market stress is creating forced selling on top of all of that. It's not fear driving the market right now, it's liquidity pressure. And liquidity pressure doesn't care about traditional safe haven logic. But here's what matters to you as an investor. This is a short-term disruption of a long-term story. And understanding the difference between the two, that's what separates a reactive investor from a thoughtful one. Now, I want to hear from you. Given everything that's happening right now, what's your approach to this? Are you buying gold right now, holding, or staying away completely? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this video helped you, then like, subscribe so that we know we are in the right direction. And I'll see you in the next one.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.